In this video, I'll go over some notable tools in Dee Jay's kit that stood out to me when I loved him. The goal is to help you get a better idea of what Dee Jay is doing when you play against him and why it works. Figuring out that is what inspired me to make this video, as I got smoked by EX Sway. But before we get there, did you know that his standing medium punch is +2 on block? So if you're getting smoked by frame traps, this is one button to look out for. If he's using that, maybe you shouldn't press after that. Speaking of plus frames, this button, forward medium kick, is also plus on block. It's actually +1 if you're standing, but I wanted to show you that you can block it crouching. That's not an overhead, but it is plus. What is plus is if he presses sway and a medium kick. That one is +2 on block as well, but as you can see, the dummy stands up to block it. So that's an overhead and it's also plus. Bottom line here, to keep it simple, is if it looks like it hits overhead, it's plus. And this button is also plus. Another thing that's plus, that I don't think will come up very much, but probably good to know, is EX fireballs. I don't know how he's gonna be in your face and have charge for EX fireballs, but say if he's taking his turn and he just presses and then goes into this and he's plus, and press this, still plus. At that range, probably couldn't do that much, but you get the idea, he's plus. None of the other fireballs, that's the heavy one that hits twice, that's -3 up close. And the medium one is -5, so if somehow he manages to do that in this distance, I guess it's technically punishable. Very bad at charge, by the way. If you do 3 lights into double fireball, Dee Jay is +1. At this distance, it's not too scary, but he can still reach you with some moves. Just to finish covering normal sway, if he does sway into the low, as you can see, the dummy has to crouch to block, that's a low. That's -3, so it's not punishable, but it is your turn, so long as you have a button to press at that range. What is punishable is this, that's the launcher, and I don't expect you ever have to block that, since why would Dee Jay do that? But if it does happen, like maybe he drops a combo or something, this is your time to punish. Another move whose functionality might be a bit odd is jumping down light kick. The reason that's odd is because he can press it whenever and it's active all the way. Whereas say here, you press the button and then it doesn't hit, right? It has a certain amount of active frames and then disappears. But down light kick, that one is active all the way down and it's plus. Some jumping attacks that change trajectory, they can be not plus. This one is plus. And if we check here, it's also an overhead. One thing that Dee Jay players like to do is do the fake up kick into down light kick. And the way that this works for me is I see that flash and I think, oh, he whiffed. I'll wait for his animation to finish so I don't get randomly hit trying to whiff punish. I'm either thinking that, or I'm thinking I'll wait for him to go on the ground so I can get my punish. I don't know why I'm pressing medium kick. And that's how he gets me with this. I try to press a button, but his button is already out and he hits me. So that's just something to look out for. Speaking of fakes, he can also of course fake the fireball. If you're wondering why he's doing a fireball, nothing comes out, he's just cheeky like that. He can do that. Also, that's not exactly a fake, but off of sway, he can do this. He can go fast forward, and I think the idea here is if you're waiting for him to do one of the other moves that he has, he just grabs in and then throws you. But it seems very slow on the recovery, so I'm not sure how effective that would be. Another thing to notice is if you see on the bottom where it says 20 and there's the yellow and white stripes, that means projectile invincibility. So if your character has projectiles, Dee Jay can just go through them like that. I think the first 15 frames are when he goes back, and then the moment he goes forward, that's the fireball invincibility. He can also do something like this and then like smack you with a button if you're trying to check him. So that can be tricky, but I've never seen anyone really use it. Lastly, when talking about plus frames, this thing is very fast and pretty much all of his buttons off of it are going to be plus. Standing heavy punch frame data changes based on how it hits. So it could be +1 off of drive rush. It could be 0. I think if he's very far, it could even be more than that. Speaking of standing heavy punch, that button is a jump scare. Look at it. Further to that, the total frames of this move is 32. The total frames of Drive Impact is 26. So if you try to read a heavy punch and punish it with Drive Impact, it might actually not work out for you. He might recover in time. He won't always recover in time, but I wouldn't gamble it. The button that kind of confused me that Dee Jay has is his crouching medium kick. If we see that, to me this looks like a sweep. It's a low button that hits you and then knocks you down, but it's actually medium kick. And it's -6, so I don't know the frame data on all sweeps, but chances are if you try to sweep him back, he'll be able to block. Speaking of sweep, this is his sweep, and as you can see, it can be spaced to be pretty safe. At -2, I don't know how I got that. At -2 you won't be able to punish it. So when punishing Dee Jay's sweep, if you want to be on the safe side, you can always try to punish it with lights. Even though most of the time it's going to be punishable by mediums or even heavy buttons. This button, if you're getting abused by this, that's -6, that's the medium version. Light version is a fake again. So he could do something like this. And then grab you. That's actually seems pretty fast and quite tricky. But if we check the frame data, it's -15 followed up by a 5-frame throw. So you actually have 20 frames there. At least, at the very least, if you get a read on it, you should be able to always punish it. If not, I'm not sure if there's a timing where if you press a specific timing, you always block the kick. But if he doesn't do the kick, your button will come out. That's probably something for a bit deeper lab work. I mostly just wanna know what the character does. So if he does this button, chances are you will not be able to punish it unless for some reason he does it very close. And as you can see, light buttons can reach. Depending on your character, maybe you even have a 6-frame medium. The heavy one is punishable. But I don't know why they would do that. If you set a dummy to do light punch after blocking, we see that it's a true block string. So there's no mix-up here anyway. That Dee Jay shouldn't really do that. But if you see a second kick, that's a free punish. As for EX is -2. Meaning there is no punish, but you always get a turn. It does have quite scary range though, so I guess careful with in full screen. Now the move that got me to make this video, EX Sway. As you can see, on itself, it's -22, and honestly the thing that gets me the most is that he does this punch, and I think, oh, that looks so punishable, I'll punish, and then I press a button, and then I damage. That's the high, the overhead, that's the low, and there's the launcher. So his options off of EX Sway are the same as his options off of Sway. He can even do the fakes. So the tricky part about EX Sway is that he can really delay a lot what he does. Meaning, if you press a quick button and he delays a little bit, he can hit you, and that's +16, so he can combo after that. Now he presses immediately at this Maron's jab 4 frames, trades. However, as I said, if he just delays a little bit, you're getting comboed. And if you press a heavier button that's slower, he can either do this, which will also punish it, depending on how slow it is, or he can just press the button immediately. And at -2 for the low and the overhead, he's pretty safe on that. So honestly, what I think I would do is, if I recognize the X-Way, as I said, most of the time when I see this move, I assume it's actually this, which of course it looks very different, but I don't see Dee Jay all that much, and not all of them use EX Sway. So I just see an EX punch, and I assume that it's this, which is very punishable, so I press the button. But if I recognize it as an EX Sway, I'd probably just try and block it out, as he's always minus. I just have to deal with the mix-up. The downside is that on normal hit, that's +6, which would combo into crouching medium punch. On normal hit, the overhead is +7, which would combo into crouching medium punch. So if you do get hit by the mix-up, you're probably getting comboed. Yeah, I don't really know if there's a catch-all solution to this mix-up, but at least now we both know how it works. Editor's note here. There is actually one thing you can do that will always beat EX Sway. That is anything invincible that will reach. Since even if you just do nothing, you're still -22, so that's a punish. If you try to commit to something, there's invincibility on your move, and you punish there anyway. Any kind of invincible reversal, so long as it reaches, should work. That might not seem like much, and you did trade bar for bar, but at least you didn't have to take the mix-up. A curious thing that I found when I labbed Dee Jay is this. That's his level 1. If you pay attention to the startup on the bottom, only the first frame has invincibility. Which means, if you hit him on wake up, unless you literally hit him with the last active frame of your move, which would coincide with the first active frame of his... from the first frame of startup of his super, which is invincible. So unless you literally do frame perfect meaty, you'll be able to hit him out of his level 1. Which makes pressuring a bit more easy, except he does have an invincible down up charge move. As we can see on the bottom, or if I do it, those white gray stripes mean that he's fully invincible. So he does have invincible moves even without level 1, but that requires drive gauge. So if that would burn him out if he does it, then it's probably worth to pressure like regardless. And if he's burned out already, then he has to either use level 2 or level 3. Lastly, I'll just mention his target combos. He's got the light, medium... He's got the light punch, medium kick, which is -8 if he does it fully. And it's not cancelable. However, if he only does light punch, medium kick, that's -3. And it's also not cancelable. But if you try to take your turn after the light punch, you're gonna get hit. And the last hit is gonna combo. So that's just something to look out for. He can steal some turns with that. Then we have standing medium punch, standing heavy punch, standing heavy kick. And that whole thing is a true block string. As you can see, the dummy is set to hit on block. You cannot not block some parts of that. You cannot get frame trapped by this. However, as we can see, it's punishable. Specifically, it's -13. If he only does 2 of them, it's -11. So both of them are punishable, and you can just mash as he's doing that, if you realize what he's doing. And it doesn't really matter because it's through block string. Now this last one is a bit nasty. So he can do medium punch, heavy punch. And as we can see, that's 8 frames. If we set the dummy to interrupt, medium punch cannot be interrupted, it's a true block string. And then after that, Dee Jay is safe. It's a 4 frame button, he can block it. But if he does the heavy punch, that hits. And I'm actually not sure if Dee Jay can get anything out of it. Doesn't seem like it, but I don't know, Dee Jay. Now where this gets nasty is that he can fake it. Now fake out is -6, but as we mentioned, if you try to press, he decides to gamble, you're getting hit. So that one is nasty. Generally not gamble that most Dee Jay players should want to do, because if they're wrong, that's 8 frame punish. They're in range for medium buttons, of course depending on characters. So I think most characters will be able to get a decent punish, and I'm not sure he gets enough out of this to justify the gamble. Anyway, that's pretty much all I had on my list from just quickly going over Dee Jay's tools. And I'm sure if you're anything like me, next time you fight Dee Jay, you will have no idea what he's doing anyway. But perhaps after you get hit by something, you remember, oh yeah, it works like that. And that's the first step to actually learning things. It's remembering them after the fact. It's like if I'm doing a combo, that's not about Dee Jay, but I'll mention it anyway. If I'm doing a combo and it's a new combo and I drop it, but in my head, immediately after I drop it, I remember, oh, I should have gone this. That's how I know that I'm on the way to learning that combo. It's kind of the same way. So yeah, good luck in the future fighting Dee Jay. Hopefully you're a bit better prepared now.